The past week has witnessed a dramatic escalation of tensions in the South China Sea involving the Philippines, China, and their respective allies. A series of incidents, each significant on its own, have combined to create an atmosphere of heightened uncertainty, military posturing, and strategic maneuvering in one of the world's most contested maritime regions. For observers of regional security, these developments reveal not only the volatility of the current situation, but also the increasing willingness of both Manila and its partners to assert their positions more visibly and forcefully. One of the most consequential developments is the ongoing dialogue between the United States and the Philippines regarding the deployment of additional missile systems to Philippine territory. Reports indicate that discussions are focusing on advanced anti-ship and long-range strike platforms, including the Navy Marine Expeditionary Ship Interdiction System and the Typhoon land-based missile launcher. Such deployments would represent a significant boost to the Philippines' deterrence posture. In recent years, Manila has relied heavily on external security partners, particularly Washington, to balance China's growing naval and paramilitary presence in disputed waters. Bringing in more advanced missile systems would extend the reach of Philippine forces far beyond their current capabilities, and more importantly, signal to Beijing that the Philippines is prepared to deny access to key maritime approaches if provoked. The strategic implications of such a move cannot be overstated. NMESIS, armed with naval strike missiles, offers a mobile, highly survivable coastal defense capability that could threaten Chinese naval assets from a safe distance. The Typhoon system, capable of firing Standard Missile-6 interceptors and Tomahawk cruise missiles, would add both anti-air and deep strike potential. While the Philippines currently lacks the indigenous defense industrial base to field such systems independently, the United States' willingness to forward deploy these assets demonstrates a shift toward a more proactive and geographically distributed deterrence architecture in the Indo-Pacific. For Beijing, such a deployment would further complicate its calculus in the South China Sea, where its numerical superiority has often been countered by the geographic leverage of smaller states working in coordination with allies. While these discussions were taking place, an unprecedented incident occurred at sea. Near the contested Scarborough Shoal, a flashpoint in Philippine-China tensions, a Chinese naval vessel collided with a Chinese Coast Guard ship, while both were pursuing the Philippine Coast Guard vessel BRP Suluan. According to initial reports, the incident was the result of an ill-timed maneuver by the Chinese Coast Guard ship CCG 3104, which inadvertently rammed the naval vessel. The collision caused significant damage to both ships and forced the suspension of the chase. For the Philippines, this event served as both a tactical reprieve and a propaganda victory. It highlighted the aggressive and sometimes reckless tactics employed by Chinese forces in disputed waters, and in this rare case, demonstrated the operational risks inherent in China's practice of deploying multiple maritime forces, often from different chains of command, in the same area. Strategically, the incident underlines a growing problem for Beijing. The People's Liberation Army Navy and the China Coast Guard often operate side by side in contested areas, but their differing rules of engagement and operational cultures create the potential for confusion and mistakes. In a high-tension environment, even a small miscalculation could escalate into a larger confrontation, not only with the Philippines, but with the United States, whose treaty obligations to Manila remain a critical factor in deterrence. Only 2 days after the collision, tensions soared again when a Chinese fighter jet intercepted a Philippine surveillance aircraft near the same disputed shoal. The aircraft, a Cessna Caravan operated by the Philippine Coast Guard and carrying journalists, was shadowed at dangerously close range, reportedly within 200 feet, for nearly 20 minutes. Such intercepts are inherently risky, especially when they involve unarmed aircraft conducting routine patrols in or near international airspace. Manila has protested the incident, calling it a dangerous and unwarranted act that endangered the lives of both military and civilian personnel on board. For its part, Beijing is likely to frame the encounter as a legitimate defense of what it considers its territorial airspace, though such claims have been consistently rejected by the international community. The interception serves several purposes for China. Militarily, it demonstrates the speed and reach of its air power in the South China Sea, reinforcing the message that Beijing is prepared to defend its claimed territories against all intrusions. Politically, it puts pressure on Manila by raising the perceived cost of routine surveillance and patrol missions. However, such aggressive air-to-air encounters also carry significant diplomatic risks. Should an accident occur, as in past incidents involving Chinese and foreign military aircraft, the fallout could be severe and immediate. Against this backdrop, the armed forces of the Philippines have been quick to assert that they will not back down from their activities at Scarborough Shoal or elsewhere in their exclusive economic zone. Senior military officials have reiterated that all operations are conducted in accordance with international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. This legal framing is crucial for Manila, as it provides both moral and diplomatic legitimacy for its actions while reinforcing its alignment with the rules-based international order championed by allies such as the United States, Japan, and Australia. From a strategic standpoint, the Philippines' firm stance serves multiple objectives. Domestically, it reassures the public and political leadership that the AFP is capable of defending national interests. Internationally, it strengthens Manila's credibility as a committed partner in the regional security network. In the context of the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, such a posture signals to Washington that Manila is not merely a passive beneficiary of Allied support, but an active contributor to collective defense in the region. When considered together, these recent developments suggest a rapidly evolving security environment in the South China Sea. The Philippines is moving toward a more assertive defense policy, one that is underpinned by both new military capabilities and an increasingly visible operational presence. China, for its part, appears equally committed to challenging these moves, using a combination of naval, Coast Guard, and Air Force assets to pressure and deter Manila. The risk of miscalculation is significant, especially given the multi-domain nature of these encounters. Incidents at sea can quickly be followed by confrontations in the air, each with the potential to escalate. The broader geopolitical implications are clear. As the Philippines and the United States deepen their defense cooperation, China will likely intensify its efforts to disrupt and dissuade further deployments of advanced weapons systems to Philippine territory. Meanwhile, every incident, whether a collision at sea or a close intercept in the air, will be closely scrutinized by regional actors such as Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia, all of whom have their own stakes in the South China Sea disputes. In such an environment, the Philippines' challenge will be to maintain its operational tempo without crossing the threshold into an uncontrolled escalation. These events also serve as a reminder of the delicate balance required in modern deterrence. Military strength must be matched with diplomatic skill, and operational assertiveness must be tempered by strategic patience. For the Philippines, success will depend not only on the hardware it acquires, but also on the alliances it strengthens and the legal and moral arguments it continues to advance. The coming weeks will likely bring further developments, particularly as joint U.S.-Philippine military activities intensify and China calibrates its response. In this climate of uncertainty, informed public awareness is essential. Following the situation closely is not merely a matter of national pride. It is a matter of understanding the real-world consequences of decisions made on the high seas and in contested skies. If you want to stay updated with the most accurate and timely military news from the Philippines, make sure to support our channel. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow our updates so you never miss the critical developments shaping the future of our nation's security.